Everything shifted the day I picked up that brush. Have you ever felt a nudge deep inside to do something that made absolutely no sense? Maybe you brushed it off. Perhaps you told yourself, oh, that's ridiculous. Or maybe, just maybe, you wondered, what if I said yes? That's how it happened for me. The universe was winking at me when I stumbled across the certified Creatively Fit coaching program. I wanted to sign up for the training. Here's the surprising part. I had never painted before. I was as fresh as a blank canvas. Naturally, my logical brain threw a fit. You painting? Don't be silly. You're not an artist. You have no idea what you're doing. Ah, yes, that loud inner critic. We all know her voice. But my soul had other plans. It was louder, stronger, and far more persuasive. It whispered, this is yours. This is for you. Trust me. And so began the journey, one brushstroke at a time, into something bigger than I had ever expected. If you're watching this and something inside you stirs, hold on to that feeling, because in the next few minutes, I'll share how that one yes awaken my creativity, my peace, and my spiritual vitality, and how you can start your own creative awakening today. So before we go any further, take a second and subscribe to my channel. This is where we learn, laugh, and create a life that feels fully alive together. If we haven't met yet, I'm Nancy, and for years I lived by pressure and logic, not intuition. I was a high school teacher and principal. I managed schedules and measured success by results. I was the doer, the planner, the one who made sure everything and everyone else ran smoothly. But one thing was missing: me. I didn't even realize how absent I'd become until the day that inner whisper turned into a roar. Life had shifted. My father's passing, my children grown, my mother's aging, and I found myself in that in-between space so many women face after 50. It's quiet after decades of noise, and suddenly you can hear your own heartbeat again. That's when the universe delivered that program link, like a cosmic wink, and I thought, why not? From the very first session, something awakened in me. I wasn't learning how to paint. I was remembering how to feel. Every swirl of color brought back forgotten parts of myself. The curious girl who once believed the world was a magical place. The woman who still wanted to dance barefoot in the kitchen. The funny thing, the more I painted, the less I cared about outcome. I was creating art. I was creating presence. My morning started earlier. I'd make tea, light a candle, and let the paintbrush move before my mind could interfere. It became meditation in motion. Some days, the colors blended beautifully. Other days, they collided. Both felt perfect because both were true. That's when I understood creativity is not about making something beautiful. It's about remembering you already are. Today I'm going to share 3 points with you. 1, awakening creativity, how saying yes to play heals your spirit. 2, cultivating inner peace, how stillness becomes your greatest teacher. And 3, embracing spiritual vitality, how creativity and peace merge into sacred aliveness. So let's get started. Part 1, awakening creativity, the art of remembering. When I began painting, I had zero technique. My first canvas looked like a toddler's experiment, and I loved it because for the first time in years, I wasn't judging myself. Creativity, I've learned, isn't about talent. It's about permission. Permission to explore, to be messy, not to know, Every color I mixed reminded me of a feeling I'd buried under responsibility. In the first month, subtle miracles began to appear. I laughed more. I stopped apologizing for taking time for myself. My husband said my eyes looked brighter. Even the rhythm of my breath changed. Slower, fuller, softer. Here's why. When you create, you slip into the present moment, where worry cannot exist. You become a channel for something higher. Some call it flow. I call it grace. For women 50 plus, this awakening is powerful. We've spent decades giving our time, energy, and hearts. Creativity gives back. It fills the well that's been quietly draining. So if your spirit has been whispering, I miss that part of me, listen. Start with 5 minutes a day. Scribble, collage, garden, cook with colors that make you smile. Forget perfection. Freedom lives in imperfection. And when you try it, when you feel that spark, comment below and tell me what creative act called your name this week. Because sharing your spark helps another woman find hers. So now that we've reopened the doorway of creation, let's step into what lives beyond it, peace. Part 2, cultivating inner peace, the stillness between strokes. At first I thought painting would make me excited, but what it gave me was calm. True, bone deep calm. Before this journey, my mind was a constant list. Even in silence, I was noisy inside. But one morning, as I moved the brush across the canvas, I noticed my breathing, long, steady, unforced. And in that moment, I realized I was peaceful. My inner peace isn't something to chase. It's something that arrives when you stop running. Through creative ritual, I learned to trust the pauses. There were days when the paint dried too quickly or the colors muddied and I'd feel frustration rising. But each time I softened instead of scolding myself, I practiced compassion. That practice spilled into everything else. Traffic jams, conversations, even grief. Peace became a muscle I could strengthen. And there's science behind it too. When you engage in repetitive, mindful motion, like brushing paint or knitting, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Your body literally signals you are safe. That's why creative time isn't indulgent, it's healing. After about a month, my mornings transformed into sacred space. I'd light incense, put on quiet music, and then paint until words disappeared. I started calling it meeting my soul on the canvas. Peace followed me off the page. I found myself less reactive, more present. Even washing dishes felt like meditation. If you've been craving that kind of calm, here's a small ritual. Every morning, place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and take 3 slow breaths. Then write one sentence about what you're grateful for. That's it. That's the beginning of peace. If this resonates, comment a 5 below. That's my little symbol for grace. It means you're ready to live from your center instead of chaos. Next, let's explore what happens when creativity and peace merge into something luminous I call spiritual vitality. Part 3, embracing spiritual vitality, living as a work of art. There comes a point when the act of creating stops being about paint and becomes about presence. That's where spiritual vitality lives. For me, it feels quiet, a pulse beneath everything I do. It's the awareness that life itself is a canvas and the divine is painting through me. I used to think spirituality was separate from daily life, reserved for meditation pillows or sacred spaces. Now I know it's right here, in the laughter that erupts mid-brush stroke, in the tears that fall when a color feels too honest, in the moment I forgive myself for every year I didn't begin sooner. Creativity reconnected me to Source in the most practical way possible. When I paint, I listen. Ideas, guidance, even solutions to everyday problems drift in effortlessly. It's as if Spirit finally has a clear line to reach me because I stopped filling it with noise. Women over 50 carry wisdom that the world desperately needs, but it can't flow through burnout. When you awaken your spiritual vitality, you become a vessel for grace again. Your energy shifts from effort to alignment. I see it in every woman I coach. Shoulders drop, eyes lighten up, laughter returns. That's vitality. It's not about youth, it's about connection. Here's something I know for sure. The divine never stops creating. Because we're part of the divine, neither do we. So whatever your brush looks like, paint, pen, voice, garden, use it. Let Spirit move through you. You'll feel it, that hum of rightness, that knowing that you are exactly where you're meant to be. Now let's bring it all together and look towards what's next, your future vision. If you've come this far with me, you know this story isn't about art. It's about remembering the truth of who you are. The day I picked up that brush, I didn't become an artist. I became awake. Every color taught me something about courage, surrender, and joy. And now standing here, I can tell you this. Life after 50 isn't the slow fade we were once told it would be. It's a renaissance, a creative, spiritual, heart-opening renaissance, where we finally have the wisdom to go deep and the freedom to make it beautiful. Imagine waking up tomorrow, curiosity instead of obligation. Imagine moving through your day knowing peace is your default, not your reward. Imagine feeling plugged back into the divine current that runs through everything. That's spiritual vitality. That's what happens when you answer your own call to create. So if this story spoke to your heart, if you felt even one spark of recognition, do one thing right now. Subscribe to this channel. This space is for women like you and me who are writing their next chapter in color, courage, and calm. Every week, I'll share new ways to awaken your creativity, nurture your peace, and deepen your spiritual connection. Together, we'll build a community that celebrates the art of becoming at any age. Because this isn't the end of your story. It's the bright, brave beginning of your next masterpiece. So go ahead, pick up your brush, whatever form it takes. The canvas of your life is waiting.